I was a jury that knew as much as I know about Christery, then I would actually probably be like, is it possible they did it? Yes. But as far as quote unquote beyond a reasonable doubt is concerned, it's also very possible he did not do it. And
the judge, prosecutor, and defense lawyer met up before the trial. The defense lawyer shows the prosecutor and judge plenty of different examples found over the years indicating a great insanity, mentally ill case defense for ChrisChan. Yeah, so the charges got dropped, apparently.
I guess the lawyer did his Christery.
Yeah, the open and shut case for insanity / mental illnesses and charges are dropped. I mean, that's pretty likely, right?
I can't argue too much with that.
No, I can't either.
I mean, he's like, oh, look at this massive timeline of events here.
When are we going to have Chris on the podcast? That's the question.
I mean, he responds to everything. You want to try reaching out to him?
Sure, let's send him an email right now on the podcast.
Send him an email.
Welcome to the AnythingCast, by the way. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Eric.
And we're about to send ChrisChan an email. Hold on. Frequently asked questions. There we go. I found it already. Easy to find. ChrisChan@AOL.com.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Of course it's easy to find.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
What are we going to say to him, Eric?
I don't know. Don't reveal too much personal information to him. He is notorious for instantly reposting stuff.
All right, let's see. How do we open this?
I
need to get my microphone over here on this table so we can do this. Hold on.
So I guess we should well, first off, don't call him ChrisChan. I don't think he responds to that. Or
yeah,
she.
Christine.
She. Sorry. My apologies, Christine.
Let's see. Good evening, Christine.
Yep.
Where do we go from there?
We'd love to interview you for the podcast.
We would love to interview you on our podcast, the AnythingCast.
And we're like super nice.
We're super nice.
We're a little weird, but we're not
we're a little weird.
We're not after nobody.
But we're not after nobody.
Yeah. I know that the trolls and whatnot are very mean to you.
The trolls and whatnot are very mean to you.
And we'd just like to have a brief conversation.
Just like to have a brief conversation about your life and just generally talk and have fun.
We don't have to have a very specific goal.
We don't have to have a very specific goal.
And if you ever want to listen to this, like outside of him typing stuff, if you ever want to listen to this, like, man, we'll be chill. Like, don't get me wrong,
we'll be chill.
We'll be chill. We're not after nobody. We don't, we're not trying to harass nobody.
So here's what we've got so far. Good evening, Christine. We would love to interview you on your podcast, on our podcast, the AnythingCast. We're super nice. We're a little weird, but we're not after nobody. The trolls and whatnot are very mean to you. We'd just like to have a brief conversation about your life and just generally talk and have fun. We don't have to have a very specific goal. We'll be chill. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
Yeah. Tell him he can, look up the podcast and tell him what episode number this one is, so then he could listen to us talk for a second, or she could listen to us talk for a second, if she wanted to simultaneously get an idea of what the podcast is like, and to, hear us, talking. Hey, Christine, if you chose to actually listen to this after we recorded it.
You're more than welcome to look up the podcast, episode 41, coming out next week, where we write this email to you live on the show. We've had several guests in the past, and we think you'd be a great fit. You'd be doing us a great honor, and we appreciate you taking the time to read this email. We hope you have a great day, and we love you.
Yeah, I'm down with all that.
Signed, Patrick and Eric
Yep.
from the AnythingCast.
I put my name to that. Yep.
All right.
I'm
what
okay with
do we
that.
title it? The AnythingCast podcast?
That's a good start. Do we want to put anything more complicated than that?
How about just we'd love to talk. We'd love to have you on our show. How about that?
There we go.
We'd love to have you on our show.
Mm-hmm.
So let's read that one more time. Good evening, Christine. We'd love to interview you on our podcast, The AnythingCast. We're super nice. We're a little weird, but we're not after nobody. The trolls and whatnot are very mean to you. We'd just like to have a brief conversation about your life and just generally talk and have fun. We don't have to have a very specific goal. We'll be chill. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in? You're more than welcome to look up the podcast, episode 41, coming out next week, where we write this email to you live on the show. We've had several guests in the past, and we think you'd be a great fit. You'd be doing us a great honor, and we appreciate you taking the time to read this email. We hope you have a great day, and we love you.
Perfect.
Sending that out. There
Send
you go.
it. Bam.
From the AnythingCast to Christine. Maybe she will come on the show. I really hope she does.
talk. We would
Dude,
love to talk.
imagine we get to
Christine.
talk to Christine.
That'd be so cool to finally be part of Christery, if you will.
Yes, wouldn't it though?
Yeah. Like
I feel like Christine, I'm not really sure. Jesus, I think is what she's going by these days.
Oh,
I feel like that they've
bad.
been a part of my life since I was like a little kid.
Wow.
You know, like early teens is the first time that I ever heard about Chris, and I still to this day.
I first learned about it right after the collapse of Channel Awesome.
Really, that late into the game? Huh?
Yes, and the reason why was because I had no clue what was going on, and one of the other managers at my old job steered me to Frederick Knudsen's Down the Rabbit Hole series.
Oh yeah,
which had just covered the entire Google Doc, like 5 hours of him reading off everything everyone was complaining about and all that. It was like 50 pages long or something. I forget. That's not important though. The point is, I found that, and that led me to Frederick Knudsen's Down the Rabbit Hole, and then I watched all of that shit, and he has a little 20-minute video on ChrisChan.
He does, and that's a great channel too. People should really. I wish he made more content, but I understand why he doesn't.
He has been off for like 2 years, but I think he has a really, really long video that he's wanting to come out with.
Did you watch the Deep Blue?
Yes, I did.
That one's like what, 4 hours or something?
I think I've seen everything, and I checked his side channel too, where he talks to Jabroni Mike. I
don't know who that is.
But there's a couple of good things on that. I couldn't finish the semenology video.
Really?
It was about making cocktails with semen. Wow. It's about an hour long. It was more of like a podcast format, so it wasn't super duper visual, for better or worse.
If I knew that it was clean, I think I'd drink one of those.
I mean, I think you usually make it yourself, so to speak.
I don't know.
I don't think that business-wise it's legal in any way, shape, form, or fashion to offer people semen cocktails. I mean, I guess it's fine to do it with a weird lover or something like that. Or
like if it was yours, I'd trust yours or something, or maybe like Will's. But like I wouldn't want to drink my own. That doesn't make any sense, you know. Like, why my own when I've got perfectly good friends?
Yeah, I don't really want to drink semen in general, so...
Well, that's where our opinions divide, Eric.
Yeah, I think there are some base level differences.
What was that video idea I came up for with like the piss roulette? I told you about that. I wanted to do a video where like we all pee into cups. And then...
Oh, yes. Yeah. You were asking how much it would take for us to drink piss.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, it wouldn't be fun if we knew it was our own pee.
Yeah, then you kept adding more details to the setup there until it turned into, that came with the peanut under the 3 cups and you switch them around, except all 3 cups have piss in them. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
And you gotta wonder if you're about to drink your own piss or one of your friends' piss.
You know what just came back to me in a fucking flash? The scene from GoldenEye where the guy flips the pin and is like clicking the pin a bunch. That was such a satisfying scene in cinema. And as a child, that had a huge effect on me. I wanted to be able to do pin tricks.
Never really been a big James Bond guy. Seen
Me
like
neither,
2
really.
or 3 of the films.
Me too.
Like once.
Me too.
Like
GoldenEye specifically, we had on VHS, so I watched that one a lot.
I have seen Casino Royale in, that's the only one I saw in the movie theaters.
Well, you were working there when that came out, weren't you?
I don't think so, actually.
Really?
I think that was a couple of years before I ever started working there.
Oh, okay.
I actually didn't see movies very often when I worked there.
Me neither, dude. When I worked at the movie theater, I never saw a fucking film.
It's that thing where when you work somewhere that you liked going to before, and then like after you get done working there, you just don't want to go back.
You never want to go there. Like,
like even
it
though
just
you still
reminds you of
like
cleaning
the things,
floors. Yeah,
like you don't really want to go back. You know,
that's why I don't eat popcorn anymore. For the exact reason, like all popcorn is to me now is that food that I made while I was working there, and just the smell and taste of popcorn. Because I mean, you could get popcorn for free while you were fucking working there.
Yes, it was the only thing you could eat like an infinite amount of.
Yeah.
So all those times I was skirting by in my mid-20s on barely any groceries at home and couldn't afford any kind of fast food.
Memories.
It was all salt and butter and puffed corn and yeah.
Granted, there's barely any calories in popcorn, so I mean, you can eat a lot of it.
You can just eat it all day long and receive almost no nutrition from it outside of the salt and the butter.
Did you get
aware.
fucking hot dogs for free?
That's a contentious issue.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us have the hot dogs for free.
Yeah, it's very like it would depending on the management. You had something called a yesterdog.
A fucking what?
A yesterdog.
Like a dog from yesterday?
Correct.
A yesteryear dog?
Like basically you put on the rollers and you cooked it yesterday.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
you put it in the fridge overnight. And then you put it back on the rollers the next day and it heats it back up.
They would always make us sell those things. Some of the hot dogs,
some would let us. It would damage it out and let us eat it. It depended on the manager.
You're a lucky son of a bitch. None of it. No, that hot dog could be on there for 3 days. They'd still make us sell it.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
There was some contention over whether or not it was even ethical to do a yesterdog. Now, mind you, I ate a fuck ton of yesterdogs.
Absolutely.
Like, because it's a fucking hot dog, and yes, you can, in fact, heat it up and eat it again the day after you cooked it.
Absolutely.
And quite frankly, it's a fucking hot dog. And they were, big movie theater hot dogs, so, like, it tastes like 99% the same as when it got pulled off the rollers yesterday.
If you ask me, it tastes better when they're crispy like that, too.
I mean, it's literally, say what you want. Yes, it spent the night in the fridge. If you never, grilled a bunch of hot dogs and people didn't eat them all and you put them in the fridge, I pull those fuckers out and half the time don't even bother fucking, heating them back up. I just put some ketchup on that motherfucker, throw it in a bun, and just eat it.
Well, this is interesting conversation. This is the Hot Dog Podcast.
Yes. The movie theater hot dog podcast.
The movie theater hot dog podcast. I'm glad that this is what we transitioned to from writing an email to ChrisChan directly into hot dogs.
I worked at where they just literally bought all of their hot dogs and their buns at Kroger and then just sold them for $2 a pop.
I do not doubt that one bit.
Mm-hmm. It was just like ballpark Franks, all beef Franks, and generic Kroger brand hot dog buns.
At one point in my life, I ate 3 hot dogs a day. Did you ever go through a phase where you ate something like that? Like something very specific, just a bunch?
Used to eat lots of, bagel bites, and then that transferred into pizza rolls.
Oh, Tostino's pizza rolls?
Oh, yeah. Totino's pizza rolls.
Too much preparation, dude. You got to cook those things in the oven and everything.
I actually was completely married to the oven for the longest time, and then finally lost patience and started doing them in the microwave.
Really? You can make Tostino's in the microwave?
The pizza rolls, yes.
Oh, okay.
The party pizzas... People say that you can. I have seen the results, and I would beg to differ.
Oh, okay.
I would say no. That one really needs 10 minutes in the oven. That'll They cook fast. I don't know what the problem is.
I got to the point to where I was putting weird stuff on hot dogs. I was eating so many hot dogs. I started putting eggs on my hot dogs.
Interesting.
Eggs and like mustard and shit. I mean, like mustard, normal. Eggs, cheese, mustard.
The most you'll ever get on a hot dog for me is pickles, cheese, and ketchup. I'm really not very fancy with hot dogs.
You're not fancy with condiments in general, though.
Not a lot of the time. It depends. I've made a note in my life since I've become an adult to go to restaurants sometimes, and even if it's something I'm vaguely familiar with, I won't customize the meal at all. I'll be like, give it to me the way you make it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to try it that way.
That's how I eat everything. That's how I've always
used to be a
everything.
much pickier eater, but yeah, nowadays I try and branch out more often.
I'm a default guy. Give me the Big Mac the way the Big Mac comes. The Whopper the way the Whopper comes. You know,
You've probably walked away from fast food restaurants without having messed up orders so much more often than I have.
I have never had a messed up order at a fast food restaurant.
You don't customize anything.
I don't customize anything.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And if they're missing something on the thing, I don't care because I don't even notice. I swear to God, I have a shitty sense of taste. My sense of taste is just awful. I don't care about eating or like nice food, really. It takes some like nice ass food for me to be like, wow, this is nice. You know? Other than that, I eat everything in 3 minutes flat, no matter what it is. I shovel it into my mouth and I'm done. I hate eating.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it. It's
I really
obnoxious.
enjoy eating. I enjoy
Really?
cooking too, though.
I hate both. It's just the most obnoxious thing. I will just eat bread.
The whole of my years in the service industry, and now I'm like, I'm
And your years in the service.
yeah.
I thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
After 4 tours, I'm sure that you eventually learned.
Yes. It took some time, but you know, deep in the trenches of France, you know,
And Afghanistan.
back in 2018, you know.
There's,
was
I mean,
some
you've been to
tough
so many
times.
places. I'm sure you learned some cuisine from everywhere.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of cuisine, a German couple gets hitched at McDonald's because they wanted, quote, the ultimate United States wedding.
I don't
do you think
know
about
if
that, Eric?
I'm not sure if I'm insulted or not. I'm trying to process it real quick. Like, am I insulted by that, or should I just be happy for them for liking us? Like, you know, it's just like,
The German couple rolled through the drive-thru in a red Mustang with the establishment jingle "I'm lovin' it" plastered across the doors and its distinctive golden arches emblazoned on the hood. Quote, I think when someone asks me about my favorite part of the wedding, one of the first things that will come up is McDonald's, Kathy told the Detroit Free Press. The experience we had there was so unique and special. The next time I'm at a McDonald's, I will have these memories with me. They took a bunch of pictures of them eating French fries together.
You know, I gotta admit, I can't get mad at it. I've decided that their absolute love for America
Yeah.
and our hamburgers, even though they could very well be from Hamburg.
They might be. Well,
I
they're
gotta
from
admit,
Munich. but-
Like, you know, that touches my heart. You
well,
know,
they're German, so you know that they're like fans of industry. Mm-hmm. You know,
their
they
love
probably
of American, you know, consumption, corporate culture is truly heartwarming.
You know, we've got a couple of German fans.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I know one specifically by name, Crow Martini.
Oh, Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, Crow Martini. I'd love to
Yeah.
come to Germany and come hang out in Germany. They live in Berlin, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you very much for tuning in all the way over there in good old happy Deutschland.
Dude,
Yeah, that's
Germany
awesome.
sounds like such a fucking awesome place.
I mean, ever since they, you know, cleared up that East-West
That,
Germany
uh,
thing, it's like I've not heard anything like crazy or bad from it.
Yeah.
Like, I hear they're all kind of pervy.
I was going to say,
but,
depending
like,
on like what part of the spectrum you land on,
Mm-hmm.
you might think that Germany's gotten worse. But personally, I think that Germany's gotten a lot better.
yeah, but it's pretty nice these days.
It's clean.
I just haven't heard, like, I've heard a couple of really small, nice things over the years, and then just no big reports. And I just have to feel inside my brain that means everything else must be nice.
I wonder if the trains still run on time ever since, you know,
That was Italy.
Oh, was that Italy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was Italy.
Okay.
That was their claim to fame. I don't know if, I mean, they might have also done that, but the famous quote goes to Mussolini, not the big ol' H man.
I wonder if the showers got worse. You think
Depends
that,
on where you were taking them.
You think that somewhere...
Well, it depends on whether or not you chose to take the shower, I think, is probably more important information there.
What do you think got worse
There were probably
when the Nazi
showers
regime
there.
fell? What do you think got just... even the most diehard of historians.
I think got worse.
Yeah, what do you think even the most diehards of historians are like, well, things really haven't been great in this area since the Nazis were in charge of Germany?
Boy, oh boy.
There's got to be something. There's got to be there's got to be
things
some...
have gotten a lot worse for white supremacists in Germany. I mean, that whole demographic has just been very unpopular.
Freedom of speech is
Freedom
nowhere...
of speech is not where it used to be in Germany. They do not like you even mentioning...
now that I think about it, I don't think freedom of speech was very great during the Nazi regime.
No, that's actually a good point. I don't think it's actually gotten worse now that we think about it. That
Maybe
is a
in one
issue.
particular area.
In one particular area to this day, they have received some criticism in their freedom of speech department. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about and considering that one issue is kind of related to their earlier, much more serious issue.
Better? Do you think the economy in Germany is better or worse than it was at the height of the Nazi regime? Because the Nazi regime had an amazing economy, right?
Yeah, but they were also starting with a super bottom of the barrel dirt poor economy, so it's kind of one of those you can only go up from here moments.
Yeah, the famous barrels of marks down to the store.
Yeah,
for
like
bread.
a wheelbarrow of marks to buy a single loaf of bread, not having enough.
Yeah, that's gonna be us soon, dude. I can't wait until that's us.
Yeah. Just imagine, $100 bill is worth less than a penny.
I'm gonna start putting. I'm gonna start putting some money into gold.
I have heard that they're thinking about abolishing the penny finally.
Oh, finally?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be great, right?
Yeah, there's just... How often do denominations of less than a fucking nickel
show up?
Yeah, how often is that relevant? How often do people at gas stations, liquor stores, grocery stores, how often, if you have to pay for something in cash and they're about to hand you back 76 cents... Oh, it should be like, just give me the quarters.
When's the last time that you paid in cash for something too?
I alternate pretty frequently, actually.
Do you? You carry cash?
Mm-hmm.
I never carry cash.
I haven't been recently, in the past little bit, but that's because my company recently switched to direct deposit.
Oh, yeah?
So when I was depositing my checks directly, I would often put some in the bank and some in the wallet.
Get some cash out of the bank.
It was partially just a way for me to parse out my bills in my head.
I see.
This is bill money. This is walking around money or whatever. You know?
I have never done that. I have never been that's a good idea though. I should be how much are my bills going to be, and then put that much in the bank, and then take out some money and be here's the physical money I have to spend on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I take $60 out of the bank every week and give to Kira though. That's the only thing that I really do like that. Kira gets an allowance, and she spends it on whatever she wants, or she saves it up or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, if one of us needs something and the other one doesn't have money, then we'll usually buy it for each other.
Oh yeah.
Since we both work, so we kind of have a separate until anything happens.
Separate but equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If at any point one of us has a fucking, doctor's visit or something like that, and we're broke, then the other person pays for it.
Who makes more money out of your household?
Oh, my wife. Easy.
Your wife? Easy?
Yeah,
really?
No. Nursing people is a lot more lucrative than nursing animals.
I didn't know. I don't know how much money nurses make. Is it actually lucrative?
It's more lucrative than the regular service industry.
Is it?
It depends on which way you go to some extent.
Harder work though, right?
Yeah, there's lots of different fields in nursing and little specialties and the like. Kind of like with doctors, but there's a little bit more variation in the pay, I guess.
If you were a nurse, would you give little handies under the covers? For a little extra under the table.
In this economy? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Little tug.
Oh, yeah.
Like old man's like, yeah, you got a nice face.
Mhm.
Like your eyes, they're nice and sharp like a Chinese. I just slip your hand out of here. He grabs your hand. He caresses the top of your hand as you...
Yeah. You could always do, it depends on what your education level is for nursing, too. But yeah, you could go to I don't know if you technically... I think there's jobs for both nurses and, I don't know what the word is. Attendants at, a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is ironic. You would think everyone's a nurse there. It's just a nursing home. It's like, no, it's not what that means. But anyway,
he says, the other ones beat me.
Yeah, you could just go in there and just
I'm looking
jerk
for
off
someone-
old men all day, you know?
Looking for something a little bit more soft. I like the hair on your knuckles.
Oh boy.
I knew this lady one time, and this is going to sound like I'm making this up. This is 100% going to sound like I'm making this up, but I'm
already
not.
believe you.
Yeah.
Go on.
That's how all these things go, isn't it? Where it's like, this is going to sound fake. If somebody says that to preface, it's usually like, okay, yeah, it's
I've
real.
witnessed enough, I think, to mostly believe you out of hand on
My
such...
ex-girlfriend, I was at her apartment one time, and she brought over a bunch of people to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
Now,
Reasonable.
I don't know if you've met the type of people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! In their 20s, but they're generally
little
not-
off base from
yeah.
the Magic the Gathering crowd.
they're just not the people that wear suits and ties to work. Let's put it that way. You know, they're a little bit more off kilter. Maybe they have like an odd job or like it's just usually not the most upstanding citizens. Anyways,
Yes,
a bunch
yes.
of them come over to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And one of the girls there doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! She's with her boyfriend who plays. And so I'm sleeping on the couch and she comes over to me and she starts telling me about her side gig where she goes to like I almost said orphanages, but it's like old folks' homes. She
Okay.
goes to nursing homes around the country and does like cosplay whoring, where she sleeps with old men in nursing homes dressed up as whatever their fetish is. Right? And then takes pictures for them to keep and gives them to them for a sum of money. She starts showing me these pictures of her fucking old men.
Wow. Okay, she whipped out the receipts.
She's very proud of it because
you met this person today. Like that was the day you met this person.
Yeah. No, I had known this person for 3 minutes. And she's just like, I'm like, what do you do for a living? You know, this is what I do I worked at the theater at the time. And I was like, I work at the theater. And she was like, oh, I've got a job, but I make most of my money doing this other thing. And I was like, well, what is it? You know, I'd love to get some extra cash myself. And she's just like, oh, I have an excellent gig, and starts pulling out. She's like, I do this. She's swapping through photos on her phone. And I get to a picture of, it's just a swastika in blood above her pussy. It's just a shot of her pussy with a swastika in blood above it. So I'm looking at that one and I'm like,
what's this all about?
yeah, what's that one? That's a little strange. Why until this point, it's just been her dressed up as a nurse or whatever, fucking an old guy.
You know.
And she's like, that's a whole set. I got a whole set of those. I'm like, of Nazi pussy blood pictures. And she's like, no, that is my menstrual blood, but no. And she swipes a little bit more, and it's pictures of her dressed up as a Nazi.
Like a big SS
Like
uniform,
an SS
an officer's uniform.
with like an old guy, with like this old man in like a nursing home room about the size of this room. So it's like a 10 by 10, you know. It's
Maybe
just
he's an old American veteran. He just wanted
he
to really
was
put
an
it
old
to the...
Jew who
he
had
really
a
wanted to
tattoo on his fucking arm. He had the number on his arm, the serial number on his arm.
And he really wanted to fuck a Nazi.
He really wanted to fuck a Nazi. So she's dressed up as a
Put the
commissar.
spurs to that Nazi officer there, yeah.
No, it was really in the other direction.
Oh.
So it's her fucking this old man with a strap on and whipping him with like a crop, with like a cattle crop,
Oh, wow.
dressed as an SS Nazi.
So I guess we met the one Holocaust survivor who missed camp.
Yeah, he was like, I
Like,
really
what the
want to go
fuck?
back. The point being here, I had known this woman for 3 minutes, and she is proudly displaying her Nazi memorabilia that she fucked an old man in the ass with.
I want to say that you made that up, but the way you just said it all without having to pause and think for 1 second.
I can't make this shit
like,
up.
that was way too much in way too many directions for you to have not paused at all. Like,
and my girlfriend's looking at me.
Like,
my girlfriend's like at the table, like, you know, on the other side of the room, just looking at me, and I can tell from her eyes that she obviously knows this girl better than I do. And she's checking up on me with her eyes like every 5 minutes.
Kind of feel like, you know, she might have been kind of like interested in your horse cock, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just fucking weird. She's just looking at me being like, you know, you still cool? Is she freaking you out too much? She was giving me that look every like 3-5 minutes. And I swear to God, if I still had contact with that woman, I would have her on the podcast. I want her on this show.
I'd be interested to hear if she's still in the business.
Me too. Like, I mean, obviously, there's probably not any more Holocaust survivors.
No,
like,
I don't think that man is
he's
still
probably
around
not alive.
anymore.
He was easily in his like late 80s.
And I'm assuming this was like close to a decade ago or so.
Yeah, I was. Let me see. It would be 15 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
So like, there's no way. If he was still alive, I'd like to have him on the podcast. I want to talk to that guy. It was just such a strange situation. And then I proceeded to just, you know me. I want to have, I would love to have this woman on the podcast. Because I just considered this woman is truly a niche individual.
You're not going to run into a whole lot of other ladies like that before the end of your lifespan.
I don't remember how that night ended. If I recall, they played Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they left, and then we went to somebody else's apartment and got drunk. I think that's how that night ended. And maybe the pussy blood Nazi lady was at the party. I don't remember.
She did not end up sleeping with you or any such nonsense?
No. I mean, like, no. She was there with her boyfriend. The pussy blood Nazi lady was there with her boyfriend.
It's an odd move to show porn that you're in to
I remember she was
people.
like, I do remember a few specifics about the lady that might, like, you know, you might go, that makes sense. One, she was like 100 pounds.
Okay.
Like, just tiny, tiny little lady. She was completely bald. And like shaved, like she had hair, but it was like shaved all the way down. Her eyes were covered in black mascara and eyeshadow, and she had black lipstick and a septum piercing. Like, she looked like the type of person who would pussy blood Nazi party. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't like astounded, you know. I was like,
it sounds appealing, but it also sounds a little bit like, don't stick your dick in crazy,
dude. If that woman had tried to sleep with me, I would have been like, no, absolutely.
She does
I would
sound
have
kind of
100% slept with her.
Yeah, like she does sound cute, like, you know, but it also sounds like if she has a good relationship with her father, I'll eat my shoe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
yeah, I would literally put a revolver with 5 bullets in it, spin it, and then click it against my head if she has a good relationship with her father.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
Like, you know, I mean, if she were a lesbian, I'd be like, okay, maybe. You know, like, because the dynamic with a lesbian daughter and a straight daughter is slightly different when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Then we just know she don't have a mom.
Yeah, like, I don't fucking know. I know if I had a lesbian daughter, then, like...
You'd be like, can we make some porn and make some money?
No, I was just thinking, like, you know, I'm pretty open with stylistic choices and the like, so, like, she could look a lot like that.
I legitimately cannot wait to have a child so that I can just be like, do whatever you want. When it comes to fashion, dress however you want, dude. Do whatever you want. my parents were so restrictive that I want to be the most like accepting, loving father.
Yeah, just, stick to rules when it comes to only like pragmatic or utilitarian stuff.
Pretty much. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
be like a reasonable dude and then just let them explore life.
Yeah, like not gonna let them go out in the backyard and bite the heads off of squirrels, but like, you can.
Okay, like is that like a specific thing that's happened to you? That sounds.
But like you can go hunting if you want.
Yeah.
Like, you can explore his interests, but there would be some hard lines, I would imagine, where you'd be like, oh, well, no, don't do that, son. I get that you're trying to express yourself, but no, don't do that.
Making art with like squirrel bodies or something.
Yeah, like,
stapling squirrels to a piece of wood.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Squirrel Stapler released on Steam. It's by David Szymanski, who was a...
Wait, that is a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah, he was on the podcast. I just want to give him a shout out. Say, go check out Squirrel Stapler. It's his new game. Go buy Squirrel Stapler. David, if you're listening to this, there's your promo, man.
Good for you, man.
Good for you. Hope Squirrel
there.
Stapler does good. Yep. I mean, he makes great stuff. Go check it out.
So yeah, just sadistic animal torture and the like. Nothing,
What would you do if your child is like damaging and hurting small animals, like showing psychopathic behavior? What do you think you would do?
I'd probably just kill him and make a new one.
It's probably a good call. How would you? I mean, like
people do that shit on accident all the time. It's not that hard to make a baby.
You could do that. Well, I mean, at our age, who's got the time?
Yeah, that's why I don't have one.
Yeah,
I don't want to bother.
I'd get like one of those human catcher things. I'm sure you've seen that. The big human catchers is like a pole with two giant clamps on it.
Oh yeah.
Catch them in that, like throw them in a lake.
Yeah.
Somebody could give me like, I could give some other guy maybe like $8,000, and I think they'd probably do it for me too.
I think I've met a guy who would kill a kid for $8,000. I want to say.
You know what? I think I know somebody too.
It sounds familiar for some reason.
It does,
even though it's so very, very specific.
Yeah. That guy needs $8,000. That's all.
He must really need $8,000 specifically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
God, I wish Will was still alive.
Yeah. It's too bad.
It's a shame.
He should have come to Gaza with us where it was safe.
I know. He got... I don't know if there's anything left either. I don't know what they're going to bury.
It's tragic, like... I mean, I know we've joked that Mississippi is the Afghanistan of the United States, but
But IEDs, like, Jesus.
Hey.
In this region, in this era, I don't know.
I said you shouldn't go to Tremont.
I know.
Yeah.
He did request that like pure white casket though.
Yeah.
That's given me some pause.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little worried about that. I hesitate to go through his journals.
Yeah. The fact that his will said a pure white casket, and he stated pure like that.
Like, I didn't know, as young as he was, that he had standing will and testament in the courts already either. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was strange to find.
Like, I don't have any specifications on my coffin or anything like that. I'd be fine being buried in a pine box. I really, it's whatever. I'm dead. Like, whatever you guys are happy with. Like, the funeral's not for me.
Yeah.
I'll be dead. It's for you guys.
He sure did talk a lot about it being clean in there, though. He wants it to be like a very... He said like he had like a list of people that he didn't want at the funeral service. He called dirty. That I swear to God that there's something that like all of those people have in common that I haven't like put together yet.
Yeah, he said if I didn't understand it, I could use these swatches, but I didn't quite understand how it was supposed to work.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Oh no, it's just a series of like,
unfortunate events, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, whatever, I guess.
And it had to be my fucking car that the IED was under too.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing under my car in the first fucking place.
Well, thought your car worked just fine, but goes, borrows your car to go hang out in Tremont, and then before you know it,
I told him while I was in Gaza. I told him while I was in Gaza he could borrow it. I mean
that part makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really questioning why he had the car at all, but you know he loves like, you know, tucking himself into small like corners and stuff
small
like
little
that.
places. Yeah, he's got like a proclivity for tucking himself into small corners.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to go and, you know, clean out the AC vents and get all of his stuff out of there eventually.
Oh my God, I hadn't even thought about that.
You know.
And all of the fucking letters from the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many, dude. He's got a stack of letters from the IRS talking about his back taxes.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I looked, he owes $50,000-$70,000.
He's got like a collage where he taped all the letters themselves unopened on the wall. I think he started using it as insulation, I think. You know how people used to like, you know, cut up like newspaper and pad out their houses with it back in the frontier
I mean,
days.
there's just so much paper.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, he's got to use it for something.
Yeah, I mean, burn it for warmth, you know, shred it and use it as cat litter. I mean, like, yeah, got to do something.
The cat litter one was definitely the most industrious out of all of them. I was really surprised that he had the forethought. Well, usually he's not that smart. You know, he's a very dumb individual.
Mm-hmm. It's quite tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he has a really, really hard time keeping up with things like, you know, reading and.
Well, he did.
You know,
he did have a hard time.
Shapes and colors. You know. Yeah. Sorry, it's still so hard.
I know it's so fresh. It's such a fresh wound.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Yeah,
I completely understand.
Mm.
I mean, I guess we'll just grow another one. I mean, what are we on? Will 7 now? Will 8?
I almost feel like we were on Will 9.
Maybe.
Making this one the 10th. But I don't know. Once we got past like, you know, 5 or 6, it kind of, it feels so normal.
You know what's strange?
You know?
After 9 or 10 of them, you think that one of them would grasp the concept of taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Just one. It doesn't have to be many. Just one of them.
Yeah, that part's a complete total fucking coincidence. Like I don't know where the defect is.
I don't either.
You know?
It's obviously something inherent into him.
It's like a hard no from day one. Like, you know, just incapable of paying taxes. I don't even know if this is a willpower thing or not anymore. Like,
it's definitely not a willpower thing. It's just he's being obstinate.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, I'm not sure that he is. I'm not sure that he is, I'm saying it's not like, you know, I'm not even sure if he's not trying.
Really?
Like, you know, I'm not sure if he can pay taxes. I'm literally not sure anymore.
Because, you know what the weirdest part about all this was? Was his, like, hard anti-Israel stance in the will. I don't understand why that had to be in there. He specifically, he was so... in life, you know, he was such like a joyous, happy individual who's like strayed away from politics.
Mm-hmm.
But he had such a, like, the will and testament was just so full of staunch anti-Semitism.
The confusing thing was all the anti-Palestine stuff in his journals.
It's almost like he hated everybody.
It's like he was living a double life.
Yeah.
Like what was he doing when he wasn't here recording with us?
You know, what was he doing on 9/11? Where was he on 9/11?
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of wondering.
We've been asking that question for ages now. Where were he? Always dodges it. He always dodges that. I ask about the Paris bombings.
Mm-hmm.
I ask him.
Yeah, I didn't know where the fuck Will was during the Paris bombings. That's a good point.
Anytime anything big happens where a bunch of people get hurt, ask Will where he was. He doesn't have an answer. He never has any answer.
Wait, when were the Oklahoma City bombings? Wasn't that in the mid-90s too?
Yeah.
And a bitch.
I have no idea. There's no record of Will being anywhere in Mississippi during that time frame.
Mm-hmm. I'm beginning to see the pattern here.
Yeah. It's almost like he got what was coming to him.
Hey, I mean, you know, maybe this one is going to be okay this time. You know, I mean, thankfully we're starting with a blank slate. No, though he will have the exact same personality and voice.
Yeah.
And memories. So I'm not sure how...
You think he'll still be pro-Russia this time?
You know, I just need him to stop being so vitriolic towards the fucking, people of Panama. Like, I don't even know how he, like, when was the last time you heard about the Panamanians?
Or met one.
Yeah. It's all Will.
What about the Panamaniacs, dude?
Yeah. That's what he calls them.
That's what he called. Yeah. I know.
I've
heard it. I've heard it a million times.
It's rough.
He says they got bologna in their sacks. I don't in their slacks. I don't even know what that means. Is he talking about their penis? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think he, looks at them like they're people. It's pretty rough. I try to just avoid the topic, really, because I don't think I'm going to ever change his mind.
I thought about kicking him off the podcast a few times, but he's just so charismatic and fun. He makes us so much money.
Well, thankfully, no one really thinks about Panama very often.
Yeah.
We're safe to talk about it today, because if we were to ever mention it while he was here, then we would probably be forced to kick him off the podcast.
God, yeah. Good Lord.
Because that, I know we don't have the biggest viewership on the podcast. Your main channel gets slightly better views for sure, but
definitely.
Good move on kind of separating them out to
well, I just couldn't have him on the main channel.
It makes cleaner channel statistics too, outside of just the problematic situation with Will there,
You excited to watch Joe Dirt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
I'm excited to watch a few more movies for that. I don't think that
I'm your sister. I'm your sister. I'm your sister.
I don't think those videos will ever do good numbers or anything.
You don't think so?
No, not really, but I am proud of them every time.
I like them. Yeah,
I'm proud of that work.
There's something special about those things.
I've been thinking about and this is a dumb idea, but it might do something. I've been thinking about pitching them to some company. Something like Machinima or Rooster Teeth, and being like, do you want to have your own Mystery Science Theater 3000 show?
Yes.
Because, we've got all the assets, and we've got good demos of what the show would be like now.
Sure.
And I think that if we gave that to a production company, something that has enough money for advertising.
Yeah, and I really like things and am forgiving, and you're hypercritical, so that could be, we could have a pretty decent back and forth there.
And Will's an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
So it kind of all rounds up.
Yeah. Well, obviously, since we'll be interacting, with movies, you've got the critical eye.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the eye for enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
And Will can tell us conspiracy theories about who's running Hollywood and what else they secretly control.
It's true.
If
we could get him to stop talking about that and talk about the movie a little bit, next time. I had to edit so much stuff out, dude. In the Mortal Kombat video?
Yes.
I had to edit so much out. You wouldn't believe some of the things. You were there, but I don't know if you remember.
What? The anti-Semitic bit or the anti-Semitic bit?
Right.
There's a reason why, the 90-minute film had to be, trimmed down to what was it, 25 minutes? 30
20
minutes?
God.
I feel like this was shorter than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I remember the Alien vs. Predator one was 30 minutes.
I did try to cut those down a little bit more.
Like listening to them when at work.
And
then I have to rewatch them later.
I learned to use the After Effects just for that video. I learned how to use the liquefy effect in After Effects so I could liquefy our faces.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was...
I thought it was good. I really liked it.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad you liked that video.
I'm very biased because I was
obviously.
In it.
Yeah.
But I'm not completely fucking blind to bad video editing or quality or anything.
It is weird
that
those videos only get 250 views. For something that has that much editing to it, you think it would get more.
That's how it goes though,
It is.
And we could do this for 3 or 4 more years and then just kind of fade apart and stop doing it. Maybe still come over, but just to play fucking Warhammer or some shit. As I do find that as a hermit type person, I function well if I actually bother scheduling out social events on a regular occasion. Sometimes leading up to it, I'll even feel that little bit of social anxiety, and I'll be no, I know these guys.
Done
I
it a
know
million
I know
times.
what we're gonna do. Like, there's nothing to be anxious about. There's nothing, it's not going to be weirder today than it was last time, or, and if it is, it's going to be weird in a way that you're already pre-okay with.
If this clip of us talking about Crystal the Fox does better numbers, then we're going to be the Crystal the Fox fucking podcast. I don't know if you're
I did see
date.
that short, yes.
Yeah, that is
talking
now
about
our
Vor.
best performing short easily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How high did we get on that?
It's like 6,000 views as of
Wow.
today.
I was about to say, I know we had several shorts that had like, 1 or 2K on them.
Yeah, I mean,
So, thanks,
we
guys.
should really lean into the furry angle, I think. We should just be a furry podcast.
I'm not
honestly.
against the furries. You guys are fine with me. Don't
You
fuck any
guys.
fucking animals, though.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdos. You're allowed to be weirdos, by the way. I don't really mean weirdo very often as an insult.
We should,
just don't fuck an actual animal. Don't. I don't care how much it looks like an animal when you draw it. I don't care what the fuck you guys dress up as. If you're full, like, yiffing with fucking suits and shit, like, that's fine.
Something I found out about those suits is the type of suit that you generally see, like the
A big
average fursuit.
mascot-looking ones.
Yeah, the average fursuit, like the
Yeah.
default one,
Sure.
is called a something dragon. It's called like so. There's like a specific.
There's like some terminology here.
Yeah,
All
there's
right, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's I don't remember what it is. God, I wish I could. It's something like a some type of flower and then a dragon. But like the point is, all of those are made by like the same company.
Huh.
So there's a type of suit that most people wear that's made by like one company, and all I can think is that company must be fucking loaded.
Oh, they are now.
Yeah,
especially now
absolutely.
that they've become more mainstream accepted.
It's the type of suit that has like the backwards legs and like the tail and then like the wings and stuff. There's like a type of animal that was originally designed to replicate. That's like a fictional animal that this one person came up with. Dutch Angel Dragon. That's what it's called. A Dutch Angel Dragon suit is the name of like the animal. So this person invented this fictional animal, and then
I have to look this up while we're talking real quick.
and then the furry community really loved the design of a Dutch Angel Dragon. And then they started making suits of Dutch Angel Dragon suits. And then that's where like the fursuit thing came from.
Dutch Angel Dragon.
Yeah, Dutch Angel
shit.
Dragon.
Still had X videos up.
Oh,
Whoopsie-daisy.
Jesus Christ.
Thought
I've
I-
opened my phone before around my friends and like had pictures of my wife naked, like just pop up, just like open my
wow.
phone and just like, ooh, damn, sorry. Like just,
Yeah, I'll have to go over there and make sure you don't have any of that on there right now.
yeah. You might want to come over here and like make sure that none of that's up. A $1.4 million speeding ticket surprised a Georgia man before officials clarified the situation. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, I just got the
Dutch Angel Dragon?
The Dutch Angel Dragon images.
What do you
up, and-
think?
Huh.
Yeah, so it's like a fictional animal.
Dutch Angel Dragon. I'm almost concerned to look too far into it.
Well, I mean, like,
The
it's
suits
just
are nice, though.
yeah, the suits are beautiful, but I mean, like, this is apparently the fictional animal that the suits are based on, really.
Huh. Didn't realize it had its own completely separate.
Me neither. I had
Backstory.
no idea that this was like its own design. Like, the lady who made these
I mean, I guess.
must be fucking loaded.
Again, I'm fine with this. This is fine. It doesn't bother me that this exists.
Deanna Blessmeyer is who owns the copyright.
Huh.
I wonder if she's just a fucking millionaire off of this. Oh yeah, did you hear about that 104-year-old lady who went skydiving?
Maybe?
Yeah, 104-year-old lady went skydiving and then died a week later.
Good for her.
Yeah, she was doing her like bucket list shit.
Yeah, man.
She's the oldest lady to ever have gone skydiving.
Scratch that shit off right at the
Right at the
moment.
tip, right?
Yeah.
Imagine just being
Fuck
like, well,
right.
I've gone skydiving and I've had sex with all the nurses in the hospital.
I mean, damn.
I guess I can go to heaven now.
I'd be worried if my heart could handle that when I'm 50. Jesus.
Yeah, I
I
will never go skydiving. I don't know about you.
Skydiving, but it'd have to be sometime in the next 10 years or so.
I just don't trust parachutes.
I'm fine with parachutes. Like, you know, I want the generic, most tested parachute. Like,
I feel like those are packed by the company you go skydiving with.
That fucking whatever the most normal thing that's been tested 1 billion times is.
I don't know, dude. I think it comes down to, does the person at the skydiving company, did they pack the parachute correctly? I don't know if they get those things hot off the assembly line and then they're just like, here you go, here's one never taken out of the bag,
I would just make sure I went with a company that had a very good track record then. Just
yeah, I guess so.
If that's how it works, then I would have to trust them. Then there you go.
I hate the idea of trusting someone else with my life like that.
Well,
someone
shit.
I don't even know.
How do you feel about flying in planes?
I hate it.
I think we did have this
flying
conversation.
in planes. Yeah, it's the same exact problem. I hate that shit.
I feel like flying in a plane is much safer than parachuting out of one. But,
I hate any situation where I'm in like one guy fucks up and I die.
Not big on any kind of public transportation then, huh?
Not really. Buses are okay for me because buses are so big I feel pretty safe. Like if the bus crashes, then I'm probably going to survive.
I feel like people die in bus crashes probably.
Trains are the same
more.
way for some reason. Like I feel like it's a big sturdy object.
Trains very rarely have serious deadly derailments these days.
And if they do, then you're in a giant metal box. I know the metal box is going 300 miles an hour, but it's such a giant metal box that you will probably be fine, right?
Depends on what kind of train you're doing. If you're doing one of those big cross-country trains here in
Amtrak
America,
trains.
Then you'd probably only be going 60, 80 miles per hour.
Yeah.
There's
a big, if you want to get to Seattle, Washington from where we are right now, if by train, then you have to go all the way up to Chicago from where we are and then go west. You can't just go straight across because of the mountains.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Takes 52 fucking hours.
That's a while.
By train.
But if it's a nice enough train, it would be, I don't know. If it's a nice little room I have, it'd be like, I wouldn't, if it was like an airplane, I just had to sit down in my assigned seat the entire time.
It can be that way.
No, absolutely not. 55 hours, fuck off.
Getting a train room costs $600.
But yeah, if I had my own little tiny, train
you gonna pay $600 to $1,000 to have a tiny hotel room on a train for 52 hours?
Yeah, if I were an affluent person and I wanted
if I was fucking rich.
Yeah, that. I feel like it'd be money better spent just go on an actual cruise.
Yeah, seriously.
But if I just really wanted the experience, then sure, as long as they had amenities.
I want to get on a fucking train and go somewhere. We should go on a train sometime. Go do a podcast on a train.
Yeah, there we go.
We've gone to Gaza. A train's easy.
Yeah, that's
Train's
true.
Fucking simple.
Probably a little bit simpler than that one.
We airdropped to Gaza.
Right,
so
yeah.
That was
hence old Patty's not being super happy with parachutes over there.
They told me it would fucking work.
Well, as you said, somebody packed it, and
both of my legs are broken.
Oh, wah. I picked you up and hauled you around. It was fine.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah.
All the ramps have been destroyed. There's no infrastructure for somebody in a wheelchair over here.
It was pretty bullshit once that front wheel popped off. Went into that fucking sewer grate, which had the collapsed building on it. And then, couldn't get that, so just kind of had to push the left side down to keep the other wheel from, doing that.
They made that sound that, the card at Walmart makes when you get one of the bad cards.
Yeah, no, I don't understand why it keeps spinning. It would always start spinning randomly.
And it's just constantly spinning, and then you're you're walking around Walmart with the bad cart, and then you feel like a jackass because you're the one making a shitload of noise and bothering everybody else.
Yeah.
and the wheel's just spinning, and you're just like, God,
why is it spinning? Like, it's not
sunk
like spinning
cost,
like a
too.
wheel is supposed to. It's like spinning sideways.
You
like,
could go
it's-
back up to the front and get another one, but you're like, well, I've already gone this far. I might as
Right.
well just fucking get the rest of my shit and then leave.
Yep, sunk cost fallacy all day long. Like, you will just put up with the broken cart every time. I have never in my life picked up a cart and then gone, oh, no, and turned around and, like, picked up a different one, no matter what the quality of it was.
You know, I
It's
think
just
that's how I
never
ended up
happened.
in my marriage. Anyways, that's the show,
Oh.
folks. I think we've gone long enough. This has
have
been
we?
the Anything Cast. I'm Patrick,
I'm Eric.
and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, y'all take it easy.